everybody. Welcome back to another episode of First and Lasties. My name is Josh, and with me this week we've got Joe.
Hey, man.
And Jimmy.
What's up? Pasta friends? Pals.
You're just scared that
You know
we're going to
it's
talk
pals.
about spaghetti hot dogs again.
Oh. Make me vomit right off the bat.
But we won't do that. How's everybody's weeks?
Yeah, pretty fine.
I mean, it's less freezing cold here in the Minnesotas.
Yeah, slightly.
So it's positive. I saw Joe outside in a park.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I didn't see you, but you saw me.
Yeah. I mean, if you didn't see me, that's really weird because I'm pretty confident you took a picture of me on a Polaroid.
But you didn't appear in it, which was weird.
Yeah, I didn't show up.
Just-
Well, that's because I'm a vampire.
It was just a tree.
Just a Twilight vampire.
All I showed up as a sparkly silhouette.
Is that what happens in that movie?
I think in Twilight they sparkle in the sunshine. Isn't that
Yeah.
true?
Yeah, they like shimmer in the sun.
That's really dumb.
But they
Mhm.
don't die.
No,
That's
the
No.
sparkle gives them
Stupid.
no pain.
But I mean, like, it
Not a
lines
vampire.
up if we're also living in a universe where, like, you're an immortal vampire and what you choose to do with that power is, like, go to high school. It lines up in this universe, vampires sparkle also. So,
Instead of die
yeah.
in the sun. Okay, just want to make sure. Ugh.
Yeah, if you're a deathless vampire that can live forever, and you decide that you want to go hunt for some high school chicks,
Yeah.
Ooh.
Problematic.
yeah, I saw the first Twilight movie with my roommate at the time, and I hated every second of it. She really liked it, and I will never watch any of the other ones ever again.
I've seen like one of the middle ones. I don't even know which one it
You
was.
didn't even see. You just saw one in the middle.
Yeah. I don't remember. It's like the one where like Edward's away and like she's hanging out with the werewolf.
Nice.
You could have said it's the one with, and then said anything, and I would have been like, sure.
So you're team Jacob is what you're saying.
Yeah, always. He's warm.
Your team Jacob because you've never even met Edward.
Yeah. Just absent
sense.
vampire boyfriend.
I don't know, man. Edward's also Batman, right? So,
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be, yeah.
so that's weird.
The bat.
Which I cannot picture at all. But apparently he's good at acting now.
He is in. I've seen him in a movie that was really good with Willem Dafoe. Jimmy,
Yeah.
The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse. I've heard it's good.
it's a very good movie. Yeah.
Did he shimmer in the sun?
It was in black and white. No such thing as sun in black and white. So no shimmering.
There's no such.
There's no
Okay.
sun when you're in black and white. That's how it works. Well, thank God this is not the world's premiere Twilight podcast.
Maybe it is. You don't know that.
I'm calling that not true. This is first and last, but this isn't a normal episode. This is the end of season 7. So therefore, it is once again time for our award show, the First and Lasties.
Cue
Like,
the
someone
music.
cue in music and like some soft golf claps.
It's TV's night out.
Is that the Golden Globes? What is that?
I don't know. It's our night to give awards to things. It's our night to not pick a show this week.
This is a break, kind of, from television.
Yeah. But Joe, really quick, just in case somebody's just really into award shows and they clicked on this podcast, what is first and last normally?
So normally we take a TV show and we watch the first episode, make some predictions, and then skip right to the end and watch the last episode and see how well we did and just see how the show evolved. So every week we pick a show, and then every 25 weeks, we do kind of a look back at what we saw, what we liked, what we didn't. And
Yeah, a clip show, if you will.
yeah. We should, next season, we'll just do not even an award show, just clips, just clip together some non sequiturs from previous episodes.
Just 3 minutes of all 25 episodes, the best 3 minutes we have.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I
we're gonna have to hire. We're gonna have to hire an editor if we're gonna do something like that. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing that.
It's just a solid 30 minutes of just, and we're back.
Yeah, just that over and over again.
And we're back.
So we're gonna do our normal 3-point structure as we do. We got our intro.
Oh.
We've got our and then where Jimmy likes to rain down facts and figures
I
on
have
us.
some facts.
Yeah, I know you do.
I have some figures.
And then we're gonna get into what we think was the best and the worst, first and last.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, we're gonna do some superlatives, aka silly awards.
the first in sillies.
Yeah. It's the it's the best cinematography of awards.
Oh. Somebody's like really pumped about those awards, you know.
So what do you got? What do you got for us, Jim?
Oh, well, wouldn't you like to so I have this is one that we haven't talked about, I think, in the 100 and however many. How many?
This is episode 185.
Oh, nice. So do you have any idea what our all-time like download number is?
Like
No
what
idea.
episode?
Like from the beginning of First and Last to now, how many? There's a term that's not coming in my mouth. All the downloads that have happened of any First and Last episode, like our total podcasts downloads.
45.
Is this making sense?
You're talking about the total number of downloads of any episode? Is that what you're saying?
Of all the cumulative episodes.
Oh, so all
of the show.
184 basically.
Right.
Okay.
Added together. Based on
30.
probably some bad analytics that was given to us.
26.
Close. Should I just drop the number? It actually went up since I checked
I hope
this
I
afternoon.
hope it's always going up, right? You know?
We do one
Oh,
every
God,
week.
I mean,
it went down
within the last couple hours. I happened to refresh, and so I was like, "Dang, 31,738 downloads."
Downloads?
31,000. Which and that's most. I feel like I don't hardly ever download podcasts. That's not like streams. That's downloads. So interesting.
Yeah. The only time I ever download podcasts or TV shows or anything like that is when I'm gonna go fly somewhere or travel. You know?
Yeah.
So impressive. There are definitely people though that are creatures of habit and or Wi-Fi fiends, and so they just don't want to use their data. They're afraid to use their data.
To me.
So I get it.
I should probably start doing that because I run out of data all the time. I don't have that issue up right now. Anyway, so that's that one. The listeners, all-time listeners, unique listeners that we've had is 7,933. So almost to 8,000, guys.
That was just me
Listeners.
logging on to a bunch of different IPs.
Yeah. We got a bot farm in Vietnam that's just
I used 7,000 different VPNs to get that.
And that actually went up today too, which I feel is weird. I feel that's something you don't frequently get new listeners. So we're ticking up to that big 8,000. next one I have is during season 7.
This season.
This season. So October, like I think it was like 14th. I think was the first episode.
I could actually tell you October 14th. Yep, 2020.
Yeah, we did some spooky stuff, so I think it was October.
That was the first spooky month show.
Mm-hmm.
What show was that?
Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh yeah. So anyway, since then, our most listened to episode, not necessarily of season 7, but
Frasier.
yeah, Frasier, still Frasier. So many people still listening to Frasier.
Well, I mean, there's all this new Frasier reboot news coming up too.
Oh,
so
man.
Yeah, Frasier's hot right now.
yeah,
Everyone's looking for.
so hot right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, isn't that going to be a Paramount Plus thing?
Yeah, I
have
don't
to
know.
Buy stuff.
So
Watch
hey,
it.
I got a little bone to pick with Paramount Plus, if I may go on a 2-minute tangent.
Yeah, we got time.
So remember back in like season 2 or 3 when 2 episode 48 when
Frasier?
we watched Jersey Shore, and then
And
me
then-
and my lady friend watched all of Jersey Shore together. Well, I don't even know if I need to be admitting this or should be, but we've also now been watching Jersey Shore Family Vacation, which is the 2017 to like 2021 TV series for
wow,
Jersey
this
Shore.
thing is still going.
Yeah. So on Hulu, the first 2 seasons are there, but season 3 and 4 are not available yet. Season 5 is like going on right now, I think. And those are on MTV. So I looked it up. Paramount Plus streams MTV shows. Cool. Signed up for my month-long like free subscription. Log in. Paramount Plus only has season 1 of Family Vacation. And I'm like, that was on Hulu. I already have that. Now I hate you forever.
Oh man, that
So-
sucks.
But unfortunately or fortunately, we found out that there's a different show that has 4 seasons on it called Snooki and JWoww. So we're currently watching that.
I'm just taking what
Just-
you can get.
All the
Yeah.
content, all the Jersey content. Nice.
Hey, season 2 of Jersey Shore Family Vacation is kind of fun because it's the season where Mike the Situation gets married and also
Gets divorced.
no, and also gets convicted of his like tax crime thing that he did and gets sentenced to 8 months in jail. So it's like,
That's season 2.
yeah, I mean, he hasn't gone to jail yet. I am assuming that was in season 3, but maybe I'll never find out. Paramount Plus.
Oh, jeez.
Oh man, I just gotta want. So is any of that actual reality? Is any of that based? Like,
I mean, he really got committed of that crime and really got married to that lady. So I assume most of it's
Okay.
based in reality.
like at a certain point, like, because I'm assuming season 3 is that the film crew just follows him right into prison, right? Like, what kind of prison is this really?
I mean, I'm assuming it's a Martha Stewart type prison facility. You know,
Yeah.
Just still doing his cooking shows from inside there.
Yeah.
Start
they ain't
calling
gonna,
him Prison
they ain't-
Mike.
Yeah, they ain't gonna throw Big Daddy Sitch into the federal pound you in the ass type prison.
They actually call him Big Daddy Sitch. I'm seeing that on his Wikipedia.
Oh my God.
That's right.
Oh, Daddy Sitch. All right. Well, are you?
No, yeah.
Now-
End Paramount rant. We're good. You can continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just want to say now that the Jersey Shore always just makes me think of that It's Always Sunny episode where they go to the Jersey Shore, and Frank and Mac get lost in the float out to sea with their rum ham. They're just in their floaty,
Rumham.
far away, like they don't know where shore is. It's great. Rum ham. Okay, so what did I say? So Frasier was the most listened to during this last season, but the most listened to episode of season 7. Any thoughts?
Ooh, I want it to be supernatural.
Oh, I know you do.
Man, it might be. I don't know. They got a following. Like Twin Peaks is pretty popular, but it's kind of niche. I don't know.
True. Neither.
Fuller House.
Neither of those.
Going with Fuller
Neither
House.
of
Final
those?
answer.
Shooting your shot on Fuller House.
Fuller House.
The Good Place.
Oh,
Oh yeah, people really. That's a good show. So that makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of fans. Plus, that one actually ended that year, didn't we? Was it still 2020 when we listened to that, watched that, whatever we did?
mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep, November 11th, 2020.
So yeah, there you have it. Those are my facts. Those are my
Well, hey
datas and
Jimmy,
facts. Play my.
I
theme
did a little
music.
fact.
Oh,
Boo-doo-boo-boo-boo.
won't have it.
Facts. I did a little fact check too while I was preparing to add up our numbers to see who won season 7. FYI, I still don't know who did it. I haven't hit sum up the columns yet on the spreadsheet, so we will all find out together. But I color coded all 25 episodes in what I would have what I think the genre of each show we watched was.
Interesting.
To try to see what did we watch more of. And I would say I did sitcom / kind of comedy show. We watched 9 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Good Place, Workaholics, Portlandia, Mindy Project, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, People Just Do Nothing. That was that British show. Fuller House, Mad About You, and Modern Family. We watched 4 sci-fi shows, which were Firefly, Supernatural, Orphan Black, and The Man in the High Castle. And argue with me if you think I've misjudged these, put them in the wrong category. I tried my best. We watched 1 musical type show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. 2 horror TV shows, American Horror Story, I believe it's the first season, Murder House. And then we watched the first season of Slasher, which is Executioner. And then we had 5 drama / comedy shows, usually longer in length. That Santa Clarita, Glow, Monk, Royal Pains, and I didn't really know where to put Freaks and Geeks, if they should be in sitcom or just kind of like a drama comedy. But I figured I put Freaks and Geeks in drama / comedy because it's technically a teen drama.
Mm-hmm.
And then second to last, we watched 3 kids shows. Are You Afraid of the Dark, Power Rangers Ninja Storm, and Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Okay. And then the one other show cannot be put into a category, so I said other, and it's Twin Peaks. Because I have no idea.
I would put that in sci-fi probably.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, but I just thought also because it's funny, I put Twin Peaks.
It is very other, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely other.
I'll allow it. Okay. Wait, so what was sitcom the most?
Sitcom heavy, and then I almost, instead of putting
sense.
drama / comedy, I just almost wrote the category as USA Network shows, because we seem to.
It's our bread and butter these days.
Yeah, so.
That makes sense, because I think so like sitcoms being our most, I feel like most TV is sitcoms, like most things written for TV.
Yeah,
that's a high percentage, so it makes sense that that's our percentage.
I would agree.
And they're short.
Yeah.
We're not watching like a 2-hour pilot for Modern Family or something.
We ain't watching MASH every week.
Yeah.
I wish we were.
We still got that. We still got that like golden goose to chase, which is Walker Texas Ranger, which has got like a 3-hour. I think that might be. I think the first episode's just a movie, and then the last episode's just also some sort of movie.
Like Dr. Quinn was like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot.
Speaking of Walker and Supernatural, have you started watching the Walker reboot?
No, has that started?
No, it's started, I believe. It's going.
I have not
With,
watched my good friend Jared Padalecki play Walker.
I'm sure it's great.
All right. Well, is it time to take a tiny break and then come back and talk about our best and worst of the season?
Let's do it. Stay tuned.
And we're back. And it's time, lads, to pick our best, first and last of the season, and also our worst, first and last of the season. I have, obviously, believe we've all picked what we want. Do we normally do worst? Are we going to do worst or best first, I guess is the question.
I think we usually do worst first.
First is worst.
Okay. First is the worst. That's what all those losers say. Does anybody want to throw theirs out first? Anyone want to be the worst at being the worst?
Yeah, I'll start.
Go for it.
I
was just going
had
to say I don't because I have kind of a tie and I want to see what you guys say.
okay.
Interesting.
For my worst, I had the Mindy Project.
Ooh.
Lay it on us. Why is that? I having a mildly hard time remembering the finale of the Mindy Project.
Let's all announce our worst and then
Okay.
come back in case we overlap.
My worst was Monk.
Oh, you bastard. You son of a bitch.
Are those the two that you had tied?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, were you tied between the Mindy Project?
They're not.
and Monk?
I just love Tony Shalhoub. That's all.
Gotcha.
I have no problem with Tony Shalhoub. I think he's perfect for that show. Well, tell us what you had first before I go off.
I have Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Okay.
Okay. You're just mad because there wasn't enough. I thought you were really
What do you
positive
mean?
on that. I said you were just. I think you're gonna say you were just mad because there wasn't enough original songs in the last one or something like that. But I'm like trying to remember back, and I was like, I feel like you really liked how it ended when she like was about to sing her song and then she didn't sing.
Okay, like the very end. Like I was fine with that. Like I just said I saw that coming.
Yeah.
Where you guys were like, oh, ready to. Thought we were about to roll into a song.
Yeah, you're making me want to change to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend because that dumbass ending. But no.
That was like the only part that I liked. Let's go back to Joe. What Mindy Project?
Back to me.
What's up?
I think. Well, first, I feel like we had a lot of actually like pretty good first and last this season. I feel like in previous seasons, there's like kind of a few stinkers, and I feel like for a lot of this season, even though maybe I didn't love every show, like they all had like a first and a last that you're like, okay, I get it, I get this show. And I feel like that's where the Mindy Project failed for me, where it's like we watched the pilot and it was a little bit like half baked. At least like the setting was fully there where you get the gist of it's gonna be like a story of this like professional woman, but told within the schema of like a like 90s rom-com, but like the characters weren't really as formed as I would expect for, even for a pilot. Especially with like the relationship between Mindy and her like coworker who ends up being her love interest. Like there was a lot of like weird meanness between them that I was just like kind of turned off by, or just like, I don't know if they're like friends and like they can say this shit to each other, but like this is making me uncomfortable. So the pilot felt a little not quite fully baked, and then the finale was like kind of conventional in like not interesting ways, where it was still like a wedding of some of her coworkers, and then she ends up with like the guy from the first episode who, from what I read, like wasn't part of the last few seasons. It looks like they just kind of came back to wrap up that storyline. So like it just started off with like kind of a whimper and then ended like on a weird note too. So I don't know. It just in total didn't work for me, and I didn't. Yeah, more so that makes it not a good first and last is I wasn't really even intrigued of like, well, what happened in between? It was just sort of like, this was weird. This was also weird. I'm out.
Yeah, I hear you. So Mindy was my other show.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
For similar reasons, like it also for me had that weird. So it changed. It went on and became a Hulu show in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I still don't know. I even started watching this with my wife like after we did it, because I was intrigued with at least the pilot, like the kind of like themes they had going. Like you could see that this could be funny, you
Mm-hmm.
know. A lot of pilots aren't like super fleshed out. Like we talk about shows
Right.
that really come into their own like in like second season, but I was like, okay, it's Mindy Kaling. It's probably funny, but by the finale, the whole show feels totally different. Where it was like silly, kind of lovable Mindy, who's obviously a bad person in the pilot,
Mm-hmm.
but you kind of like her anyway, like because it's silly, like in it's Always Sunny or something. You know, he's like, these are awful people, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's silly. You're into it. Like you get where it could go, and then by the end of this, it was just like a zany, like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, where just weird things. It was like it's like Family Guy live action, where just lots of weird things happen for seemingly no reason, and just the
Mhm.
whole tone of the show changed.
Yeah,
Weird.
when you say Mindy Project Joe, my first thought is sitcom. I feel like for the most part, unless it's just an amazing sitcom, I think
Mhm.
they all just leave my brain so fast.
Yeah.
Because it's
there's
just
that.
like sitcoms are dumb, and especially ones like Mindy Project, which is kind of all those things you just said, where it's
Mhm.
kind of like, does this even fit? She's like a little too mean,
Mhm.
or like, and whatnot. So I didn't even. I mean, yeah, my sitcoms that I wrote down that we did like almost didn't even come into play in my first and worst, because they just had to like be so egregious or so good, and I feel like so many of them were middling.
Mhm.
So I don't really
I
have too
do
much to add
have-
about the Mini Project besides that is a very solid candidate for the worst one.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I do have maybe a runner-up superlative award for best cameo, which is Rob McElhenney. Speaking of It's Always Sunny, who plays who officiates their wedding
Yeah.
in the finale.
That was fun.
It's pretty dope.
That was fun. I guess it's my turn to talk about Monk now.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
So
Tear down
Maybe-
Shaloub.
maybe I'm gonna be
No,
nitpicky
wings.
or something or not, but I think my biggest problem with Monk is the show itself and how it's put together.
The biggest problem with
and-
Monk is itself.
Just all of it.
Well, I recall when we did the episode, I compared it to, it's like Mr. Magoo meets Sherlock Holmes, you know, and so much of the first episode, looking back, had to have so many just convenient things either happen for him to like solve the case, and or just things that didn't make sense at all. If you recall, the first episode was the one where the guy that was running for mayor, like his bodyguard got shot, but then they thought they were trying to kill the mayor, and then it turns out that it was like his campaign manager or somebody
That's
who
right.
was like
Mhm.
hiring these people to kill him. but then they like recreated that whole scenario like in the square from the beginning and like proved that there was no way to figure out where the gunshot came from. And then a gunshot happened and then someone heard it and knew where it was coming from. And that's how they figured it out, like almost exactly what they had said wasn't going to work. And then his not his secretary, his PA, that lady, I can't remember what her name was now. She like chased the bad guy into like the sewers for no logical reason whatsoever. Like it's just so many weird things, like so many illogical things have to happen so like Monk can jump through his like Sherlock hoops while he's like Mr. Magooing all over the town kind of thing. So that already was like annoying to me. I was just like, okay, but this is kind of fun. Like at least the first episode was like fun and whatnot a little bit besides that. But then we get to the last episode where he finally unwraps his dead wife's like tape and listens to it after it's been there for like how many seasons. And they're just like, oh, look at this. We don't even have to go find the MacGuffin. It's just right here.
Everything we needed to know.
Everything we needed to know this whole time. Isn't it convenient that we can just wrap all of this up right now? Let me Magoo my ass all around town again to like catch the killer
Solve his wife's murder.
who is coach of all, which is the only redeeming quality is its coach, which is fun.
Oh man, I can't wait for that to be streaming somewhere.
Like, and this is, I mean, Jimmy, I'll tell you this right now. Tony Shalhoub is great. He did a good job, like in the show, and he was really funny.
Damn
it's
right.
just the stretches that show needed to do to make everything work. I'm like, there's no way that the next 100 episodes or however many there were in the show, I feel like they're all like this, aren't they? They just gotta be. So 125.
Yeah, probably. That is one thing about those kind of shows is that they just have that like rhythm.
Yep.
And that they just have that formula that they do every time.
Yeah, that's the problem you get in when you're deciding to do some sort of like procedural, if it's detective, cop, I don't know, whatever. So
become predictable.
It just became it was. I mean, it was predictable from the get-go, and not just like you knew what was going to happen, but it was just predictable that something just so convenient was going to happen that almost defies your logic while watching it. So unless you're just turning off the thinking part of your brain while watching it, you're just kind of like, come on, what? No. The tape was there for 125 episodes and he finally just opened it? Not happening.
It was Bruce
Monk.
Willis the whole time.
Yeah. And then he like finds his ex-wife's like long lost daughter and like
Oh, I didn't even talk about that. Oh God.
that's just weird because he's like trying to soak up every moment with her, but like she's like, I didn't even know my mom, let alone you. Like who are you?
Yeah, I mean, in that part, at least, in a way, kind of like fits the Monk character of him just not understanding boundaries and like just being super weird. But it was just uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was weird.
Him doing that. I'm gonna quit my job and go to Vancouver with you for 2 weeks, and she's like, dude, no.
I'm good.
I'm good. That's I don't need that.
I'm an adult. Yep.
I'm 45 now. She's like 20 something. Okay, but that's it. That's my Monk rant.
Fine. I guess. I get it. It was definitely if you guys ever go back and start Psych is like has a similar, I mean, it's like the detective like guys that they're just figuring out, crazy unsolvable cases, but but everything's much more tight. There's like never a loose end. Like the things like that don't happen. Like the explaining away things and then to have that same thing happen. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in Psych. It's just like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Watching Monk made me more interested in Psych.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I do think Psych probably has a lot. Probably owes a lot to shows like Monk that came before, because it's the same exact. They have their formula, and by like the 7th season of that show, you can start to call things, even though things are still kind of left field. Like you just see a character and you know, like, oh, it's Billy Zane. Oh, he's for sure the bad guy. It's Billy Zane.
Yeah, I mean, shows like
obviously.
that, yeah. Number one, if it's Billy Zane's in a show for one episode, he did it, obviously.
Yeah.
But
or just real life. I just see him in real life. Like, man, he's up to something shady.
you've seen Billy Zane in real life?
No, but if I do,
And what did he steal
that's
from
when
you?
I'll
What?
know.
Okay.
The moment I see him, that's when I'll know my wife has been murdered.
The lights go out. Your lights go out. Someone's dead, and Billy Zane walks by, and you're like, "Holy shit, you did it!"
Casually walks by me. Oh God, no. Okay, I'll go. My worst, like I said, is Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Loved the pilot. Thought the pilot was hilarious. It was fast-paced. There was funny songs. Right up my alley. It wasn't even like cheesy like music. It was like, this is funny, original stuff. Like kind of Flight of the Conchords meets something else.
Yep.
Pitch Perfect. I don't know. Something more rom-commy. And then the finale was just the opposite of all those things. It was way slowed down. And there was almost no music at all, and almost no jokes at all. It was very
I would
serious.
agree with you on that point. Like, it was really disappointing to me that there wasn't like just a plethora of music in the last episode. Obviously, they needed to finish their story or whatever, but it's just like, this show is music, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I don't know. The reason why I put this and Mindy together were for the exact same reason of this show was not the same show at the end. At least in the finale, where Mindy probably had been like that for a while, but I don't know. I mean, at a certain point, I guess you run out of material to sing. Like,
I mean, maybe, but you did sign up for that, you know?
Yeah, you'd think you'd have that figured out going into it.
Yeah, I would have expected a big like closing number, but maybe that was in the penultimate episode.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, all we had was the only music was like right in the middle or towards the beginning, where it was a mashup, like medley of a bunch of seemingly the songs throughout the show. But then it was just like little snippets of each song that you had already heard and that we obviously didn't know anything about. And that was it.
Yeah. A vocal clip show, if you will.
And then just this extremely slow drag of an episode to the end, like where she's just dragging her feet on choosing between these three guys. And then it was weird time jumps that were tough to follow because the time jumps themselves were not like chronological, so you never really knew where you were in the timeline. And they had clearly added like 100 characters, and they're trying to jump between them and not really giving anyone a good send off. So it's like, why even do this?
Just to make you sad, Jimmy.
Yeah, it was kind of sad. I will say I do still want to go back and like watch a season or two and hear some funny
Here's
songs.
some good music. Yeah. Okay, so now changing gears and going to what we think was the best first and last of the season. Is anyone hung up on one or two shows? Or do we all have a solid one to choose from.
I think I had like a solid 1. Yeah.
Okay. What is it, Joe?
I had The Good Place.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
I do as well.
Oh, nice. Definitely was in my running for sure.
Gonna say Supernatural.
I'm going to say Supernatural. I was, you know what was funny is I was reading our rules because believe it or not, listeners, we have rules to how we do some of these things, and the very first bullet point is best and worst of first and last is we all pick the best and worst FNL, not based on the show itself, just judging the FNL.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the deal: I just can't. This season, I spent 15 seasons with Supernatural. Honestly, I really, really enjoyed that last episode. There was some stuff that they maybe could have cleaned up or done a little bit better, but they also had COVID and like they shrunk the last season a little bit, and so some of that's not their fault.
Sure.
But I love Supernatural.
Yeah.
So I had to
The
pick it.
Supernatural ending for sure wasn't bad.
It was not bad. No,
It was good.
not bad.
Yeah.
Ooh, you dare say.
Dare I say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Excellent. Well, here, let me just talk about Supernatural, so then we can get into this like Good Place conversation with both of you. Then,
Sure.
First episode of Supernatural is, I think it sets up. It's a two brothers fighting demons with their brotherly,
Like you do.
tensions and whatnot, because it's they're kind of like disconnected at the beginning, and so various things. There's the prelude or whatever with the mom burning on fire on the ceiling, and then it goes to like 20 years later. I think it's like 20, where they're in. Sam is in college, and Dean is a hunter running around, and he comes and finds Sam and is like, "Hey, you need to help me find Dad." So it brings them together, gives them a reason to do something. They fight a ghost, I believe, in the first episode. So it definitely shows you what they're going to do. Hey, we fight monsters. And then gives you a lot of exposition just about kind of their tensions together, and then their tensions with their family as a whole, trying to find their dad, whatever. So pretty solid first episode. At least it sets up the show. You know what you're going to get for sure. And if you don't like this cheesy WB, half superhero, half like monster bromance show, then you're not going to like Supernatural. And then the final episode is,
before we move to the final, that like first opening of that first 5 minutes of the show is like the best hook, I think, of any show we've watched, where mom is all of a sudden on the ceiling and then on fire. It's like just like if you're not watching after that, like, dang, this is not for you.
It ends like that too. The first episode ends the same way because they kill Sam's college girlfriend in that way. Like
Right.
They think they killed the ghost, and then now they're just going to go find their dad, and then this demon thing from their past is still somehow within their lives or something. Or, I don't know if they know it's a demon at that point, but it's the yellow eyes demon, guys. Don't worry about it.
The yellow eyes demon.
It's the yellow eyes demon. He's a crossroads demon.
Don't even worry.
Don't even worry. Don't worry. They get him. And then the finale is, I'm reliving it right now. Whew, it's good. They just go on like it's almost like a normal just monster of the week episode where they're like, hey, there's a vampire nest. You guys want to go fight vampires? Because they had already killed, that second to last episode, they had already killed God or whatever they did, and did all this stuff. So they fought their big fight. So it was like, last episode, let's go fight some vampires, because there's still monsters here, even though we did all the crazy stuff. And then Dean gets killed, and that was a long scene of like them just talking to each other while he's like impaled, because he got killed in a really like unceremonious way, really, too. They thought they were done, and he got like pushed back and like got stabbed in the back from like a stick or something, or a big pole that was sticking out.
Yeah.
And then he went to heaven, he went to heaven. And then it just kind of played out like Dean in heaven for a little bit, and then Sam got to live his. For someone watching the show, at least, Sam wanted to live a quote unquote normal life for the whole time, essentially, and he got to do that. Sort of, had a kid, grew old, died, and then was reunited with his brother, and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the whole cast and crew said goodbye on the bridge too. So it's always kind of fun when they also do that kind of stuff, where they're like, "Hey, this is everyone that actually worked on here. Thank you for watching."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Took a little curtain call.
Yeah.
That is cool.
15 years. I think 15 years of a show, they deserve some form of curtain call.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. So, that's my Supernatural shtick. Unless you guys have anything to add, we can move on to Good Place.
It sucked. Just kidding. I thought about saying Supernatural for my worst, just as a joke, but
no, you can't do that. Yeah, I mean, I would probably be. I'm self-aware enough to know that Supernatural probably technically wasn't the best first and last, objectively, of the season, but it definitely was for me. So, suck it.
It was not the best, because the best was The Good Place.
The Good Place. The best place.
Best place.
Well, tell me why.
I guess my quick things are that it was a show built to have a good first and last. Like, they wanted to have something that they took from Lost, is they wanted to have like cliffhangers at the end of each episode. So the first episode naturally leads you to want to watch more. And then I was just impressed by the last episode, just being that it's just so far beyond what they had started, which is kind of a Michael Schur thing, who's the creator of the show, is he wanted to make shows that weren't just like, like Parks and Rec, where it's just, if Parks and Rec were to just stay in the Parks department the whole time, like they had different things where they're going through different jobs and election cycles and changes in the department. So in The Good Place, it's like they start out with, what's her name? Eleanor's trying to figure out like why she's in the good place when she's not supposed to be, and then by the end it's like they're having a philosophical discussion about like what it means to just disappear into the ether. It just felt like it was just like on a different level, and I think it just I think Mike Schur does good first and lasts, at least for what I look for in a first and last.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. As far as the first and last goes, it's just kind of like, how do you end a show where everyone is already dead?
Yeah.
and yeah, it's so, the way they did it is so thoughtful and like thought provoking and just cool.
Yeah, they could have gone a completely different route, essentially, and done like everyone's alive again, and that was the end or something like that. And that,
which is what we were kind of predicting, and it wasn't that at all.
Yeah, which is good, because it seems like we were predicting. I mean, if we came up with it in like a couple minutes each of what our predictions are, so it's obviously the obvious choice. So it's good that they did not do that, and it still was good.
Yeah. And they still left it, you leave it kind of open too, like you said, like they just kind of float through, they go through this door and disappear, and they kind of leave you deciding like what kind of is happening to them without ever like over explaining, like some shows wrap up when it's just like too tight a bow. But yeah, I mean, and all the while being so funny and so well written, and like just what's her name? Kristen Bell is amazing, and Ted Danson. It's just an excellent cast.
Yeah, the cast in that show is so good.
Yeah.
Is that it? That's all
That's
the praise you have?
Yeah.
Jeez. I feel like I praise Supernatural more than you guys praise Good Place. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say it's I think the only show of this season that I actually like watched a few episodes of after we were done.
Nice.
Didn't keep
Have
up.
you finished Frasier yet?
No, I haven't finished Frasier, and eventually fell off of The Good Place, but for me that's pretty good.
Yeah, for you, that's actually really good. Did
Yeah.
you, before we take a break and get back to superlatives, did you watch shows from this season, Jimmy?
I was just gonna ask you the same thing. So I said I started to watch the Mindy Project after, but I fell off of that. I know, Josh, are you still watching Man in the High Castle?
Yeah, I mean, not including the finale, I have one episode left. So I have the second to last episode left.
Okay.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see once I finish it if I'm like, cool, I know what happens, and I just finish the second to last episode because I've already seen it, or if I rewatch the finale or not. But
Nice.
that show might come up in my next batch of awards. So.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't make you talk about it. Yeah, from this season, I didn't. Even though there was a lot of good shows that we watched, I did not. I did not start any. I also finished Buffy finally this season, and I've picked up The Strain again. From way back.
God, that's like season 1.
It's so good, you guys. It's really good. So I'm gonna blow through that, and then we'll see.
And then maybe I'll go back. Cool. All right. Well, hey, we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we're going to get back with some more awards because we just got a lot of love to give. All right. We'll be back in just a second. And we're back with the final part of the first and lasties coming at your faces. Watch out. It's going to get you. We're going to do
Protect yourself.
our little special awards, our superlatives, if you will.
Superlatives.
I will. Superlatives.
Superlatives.
Super
Latavis.
lat ives. This bit isn't working. So do we each have 3 awards to give out?
I have 3.
Yeah, I've got 3.
Cool. So why don't we do normally what do you do, a little round robin scenario here?
Yeah.
So Joe, you started going first with your best and worst. So Jimmy, why don't you go first with one of your special awards?
Okay. So this morning I went back and listened to our very first and last to see what kind of things we did.
Oh, to Frasier?
No.
The first and lasties.
First and lasties. Yeah.
Got it.
Spoke. And it's just a funny episode. But we did a lot of great superlatives in that one. So I wanted to go back to one we did, which I believe was you, Josh, was Piccolo. Award for a Piccolo. Which I feel like we haven't had in a while. A good Piccolo.
No, we haven't.
So I picked one out.
Does a Nazi in the High Castle count as a good Piccolo?
I mean,
I
is
don't
he
think
still a Nazi, or
yeah, I don't think they're all still Nazis, so it doesn't really count.
We need to redefine for the listeners what a piccolo is.
Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, it's it's a reference to Dragon Ball. I guess Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball, yeah. Well, because in Dragon Ball, Piccolo is a bad guy, and in Dragon Ball Z, he's not.
Yeah, that's
right?
kind of where I
He's a Piccolo.
hesitated. Yeah. So in the Dragon Ball Z universe, Piccolo is this like green alien who was the villain for the first part of the story, but then later becomes like buddies with the heroes and joins their side, even though he's still an alien.
Mm-hmm.
So we've kind of been using it as a term to describe mostly in like sci-fi or action shows where like the villain is all of a sudden part of the good guys now.
Right. And we've had a lot. Apparently, this is like a common trope. Apparently, because you see it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is it kind of counts. It's from the show Santa Clarita Diet, which really, in all fairness, like by the end of that show, Drew Barrymore herself is kind of a piccolo. It's because she's a zombie, but she's also like the good guy, like in the good guy side, you know? It's not like humans versus zombies. It's like let's humanize zombies kind of in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But but the pickle that I picked was the character Gary, who is played by Nathan Fillion in the first episode and then voiced by Alan Tudyk. And he's just this zombie head by the end who like works with them or something.
Mm-hmm. And he's a villain because he was like creeping on Drew Barrymore in the first episode, right?
He was a villain because I think he was trying to like sexually assault her, basically, in the first episode.
And then that's where like she like ate him.
Yeah, and then she ate him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, you know, lesson learned.
And now he like as a head like does like logistics and stuff for them.
Yeah. Now he's a good guy.
I do like that.
Good head.
I do like that he was Nathan Fillion in the beginning, and then he's voiced by Alan Tudyk, who is also just a co-star of Nathan Fillion's from Firefly. So
right, that was the culmination of my long setup to do Firefly when it was again my turn to pick a show, and you guys did not know.
Yeah, kudos to that. You really pulled the wool over our eyes on that one. So good job.
I could be doing it to you right now. You don't know.
I encourage it. I hope you do. All right, good one. That was a good one. I'm gonna do my next one. My first one is it's more of the same, but like that's fine award.
Okay, interesting.
Basically, what I would say is that award title would be someone says, "Should I watch this show?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, I mean, it's like more of the same, but like, you know, that's fine."
Okay.
That's how I would describe this show.
Okay.
Do you know what show I'm talking about?
Not a clue.
More of the same, but it's fine.
I'll give you a hint.
Man in the High Castle?
It's in the sitcom section.
Oh. I was going to say Man in the High Castle because I know you've watched more of that.
I mean,
Fuller House.
Yes, Jimmy. Fuller House.
Ah.
Fuller House is just Full House again. It's more of the same. If you like Full House, you're going to like Fuller House. But you know what? That's fine.
Yeah. I get it.
Thank you. It's a long roundabout way of me saying what I said when we watched the show and saying it again. I thought I enjoyed Fuller House enough. I liked Full House just fine. And if you like that, it's more of the same.
Yeah, like I want to think that like Fuller House is a step down from Full House just because it's like part of the reboot, you know, culture, and it's now on Netflix, but really it's not. It's just as good.
Right. It really all just comes down to whether or not you liked Full House.
I
would love to know if someone watched Fuller House and who loved Full House and went, I hate this show. Because what changed in your mind or something? I wouldn't be able to get it. But yeah, that was my first one.
Nice.
Joe?
Cool. I think I'm going to give my first award. We'll start with kind of the icky one. This is the award for like most upsetting show experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we broke
What?
Joe.
I know there was a
Interesting.
show that you didn't really like that much, but I don't think that would be upsetting to you.
Yeah,
Upsetting.
upsetting was a specific word that came to mind when I was thinking of this.
Would it be like slasher? Or like a horror one?
I don't think there was no big spiders in that, and there wasn't any gratuitous sex really this whole season.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Are we
I will
looking at-
say
don't
that
think-
like Santa Clarita Diet was like a close runner-up because they did have like a weird like it was like a meatball spider thing in like the finale.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, God,
It was close.
and it was like a pet by the end.
yeah, but more upsetting than that.
Twin Peaks. It's got to be Twin Peaks.
Yeah, definitely the final episode, just the entire final episode of Twin Peaks. When I don't even know how to describe it, they go to that weird like
The curtain room.
curtain room.
I think
with-
it's basically hell.
I was gonna describe it as hell, but like I don't know if it was supposed to be hell for the characters,
On
but
the
it was
way
like
to hell.
hell for me because it's just like it's just nightmare fuel. Like he's like stuck in this room and like he's running around through different rooms but it's all the same room and there's like weird characters in there and they're like speaking backwards and like
Wow.
the missing girl is in there. She's like making weird faces. It was super creepy and I didn't understand it at all. And the combinations of those things just was very upsetting to watch.
I watched a couple more episodes of Twin Peaks afterwards. It's so
Nice.
weird that I think I can watch one episode of Twin Peaks like a month. So I'll be done with Twin Peaks, in a couple years. But
And then you can start the
and then I can start the reboot or the
continuation, I
the
guess.
continuation. But that red curtain room is in earlier episodes, so it's not new to the
Okay.
last.
Yeah, right.
So just in case you were wondering if
It
it's
gets weird before that.
if it's uncomfortable throughout, Joe, yes. The
It
answer
is
is yes.
twisted.
Jeez.
But that's like it's just David Lynch, I think, though. His stuff is just kind of twisted and creeps you out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to think, have you seen any of other of his things?
I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen any of his movies.
Isn't Mulholland Drive David Lynch?
Yeah,
It is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ugh, that
And
that's
that's weird and uncomfortable for sure.
it's- Yeah. Similar vibe. I liked it though.
Definitely.
Okay.
Jimmy,
Good
I
one,
guess
good
we're
one.
around to your second.
My second is just called Too Wrapped. Too Unwrapped, starring Scott Summers, hosted by that candy show?
Yeah,
Wrapped.
but it's too wrapped.
This show was just too wrapped up neatly with a bow.
Ah.
Orphan Black.
Ugh, I did like that show. I want to go back to that at some point.
Power Rangers Ninja Storm.
Close second. Royal Pains.
Yeah.
I almost thought about that. With what was his name? I wanted to say Dimitri, but that wasn't the mobster's name who wasn't a mobster.
Yeah, the German guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just everything. It was just very cookie cutter. Like, here's the outcome that you wanted for every single character handed to you. It's like did you even need to film it? Like,
Yeah.
man.
And like that main character, like just couldn't stop smiling because everything was working out.
He also couldn't keep his shoes on.
Dr. Hank.
nice.
That's who it was.
Yeah, Hank.
Ugh.
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like the first episode was intriguing on that show, and then the last episode was like, how is this mobster still a good guy? How is everyone getting gifted mansions? And then
Yeah.
and then Hank just goes to Africa. Was it Africa where the Julie or whatever her name was
Yeah.
there? And he
Jill.
just like Jill.
Yeah.
And he just went and like picked her up and was like, hey,
Yeah.
He just
what's
went,
up?
had coffee with her and was like, hey, but what if we got back together, though, and you moved back to my mansion or whatever?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. However it happened, it was ridiculous.
He's like, I need an ending here.
Yep. Everything needs to be the perfect end to this show in this one finale. It was the exact opposite of, like, if The Good Place was like perfect way to do an ending, this was exactly the opposite of that. Too wrapped.
I get it. My next one was the Stop Trying to Make Me Sympathize with Evil award.
Oh boy.
Supernatural.
Like, I was gonna say, like, dare I say, Man in the High Castle?
You do, and you would be correct, Joe.
Oh.
Just very sympathetic Nazis.
They're just John Smith, like the main. He's freaking like the Reich Marshal of the. He's the lead Nazi in America. He's number one American Nazi. And you watch, I think when I was like third episode to the last, there's a lot of stuff with like him and his wife. Kind of it goes between like Juliana and her stuff, and then John Smith, the lead Nazi in America. And those are essentially the two big story points that are kind of that have at least been there from the beginning. And you watch him and you're just like, ah, man, you've really had a hard time, man. It's like, I just want like something good to happen to you. But then you're like,
his name is
you're
John Smith?
He's yeah. Well, he's in America.
Pocahontas guy?
Well, I don't think he's the same John Smith, but his name is
just
John
seems
Smith.
So lazy. Okay, sorry.
Just put it in a placeholder.
It seems kind of
We'll
lazy,
update
but
this later.
I could see them giving him they gave him such a like basic,
Like bland American name.
Just
the
a
most
bland
American
white
name.
American name, just because he is like, it's just very. They're trying to hit home that he's not German. I think like right away. So but. Yeah, the interactions with him and his wife and how his family goes and the decision he has to make and his like inner turmoil. You're just like, I like don't like that I like you and that I like want good for you.
Well,
you're
even
a Nazi.
Like, that's like character wise, but even because I've seen the first season, and even like politically, like there's a whole storyline about there's a subplot to kill Hitler. But if they kill Hitler, it'll start off the war again. So it's actually like better if Hitler lives. So it puts you in like a weird position there where you're like, like hoping that Hitler survives.
Yeah. At some point, they have you rooting for Hitler in this show, Jimmy.
Wow. That's kind of awesome. I mean, not like historically, but to set you up. I don't know.
Yeah, to set you up in a way that you as a viewer
make you
think
feel feelings.
Yeah.
You as a viewer are like, oh man, if Hitler stays alive, things will just be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing anyone should have ever thought or said.
Right.
in
And at the
history
same
of literally
time,
the world.
and at the same time, not cheapening that like Nazis are bad. Like
Right.
Nazis are still bad, but it's complicated.
Right.
Right.
Oh, and don't get me wrong. There's no point in this show that they like pretend like Nazis are good, or or anything like that. They don't.
You got to see both sides.
No. Yeah, no, they're not assholes about it. They just definitely show you like John Smith and his family and what they did and how the decisions that they made to get to where they are. Because he fought for the United States in World War II. Like he was not a
Interesting.
So it's interesting, but he also fought for the United States and then rose to become the lead Nazi in America. So
Top knots.
Well, with that, I guess it's your turn, Joe. What's your second one?
I was gonna do which I think we've done like similar awards to this in the past, but this one is for best use of music.
Ooh.
So not necessarily a best song, but we had a lot of shows this season that make good use of music to like either set moods. Sometimes it's like licensed songs, and other times it's just like killer score. Like some runner-ups I had was like Twin Peaks, where it's got like that weird like synth score.
Twin Peaks sound. Yeah, that's good.
And like Glow had some songs that are like from that era, and like especially like the theme song, like "Hit Me with Your Best Shot," like really sets the tone for the show.
Mm-hmm. I have two thoughts about this award, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
My first one is "Mad About You" because that theme song's a banger.
Yeah, killer theme song.
But besides the theme song,
written
I guess
by Paul Reiser.
Yeah, which is weird. But besides that theme song, there's I wouldn't say anything about music, and "Mad About You" is maybe anything special. The other one, maybe it's just the theme song, but I thought there's other music. But "Freaks and Geeks" just has good music for the era that it's supposed to be in.
Yeah, "Freaks and Geeks" is the winner.
Nice.
Oh, hey, there we go.
Because yeah, not just the theme song, but like they had like specific like needle drop moments, especially in that first episode. Like I think of they play like that Styx. Is it Styx both times? They play Renegade. I forget who it's by, but like when they're like going to the fight, that Styx. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just the the slow motion walk up of the kids going to this fight with that Renegade song playing, like super like it's like at once like funny but also like kind of badass that these like nerds are like walking up with this theme music. And then of course the ending of the pilot, which is "Come Sail Away," which wraps around the main geek trying to ask his big crush to dance, and he thinks it's going to be a slow song, and he's nervous about it, but then it turns into a fast song by the second half of "Come Sail Away," and that
was so good.
Yeah, just like it just doesn't work without the music.
Right.
And they did the 70s dance routine thing in the finale. Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of disco and stuff in the finale.
Yeah, the disco and stuff.
Oh, that's
which
right.
is funny because that was like against what they were like about in the beginning. They like specifically talk about how shitty disco is throughout the whole thing, and then they like at least Jason Segel embraces disco then at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I need to go back and actually watch that show. That's really bringing me.
Yeah, I should
short too.
Yeah. Nice. That's a great one. Okay, we're doing last ones now?
Yeah, do your last award.
Lasties. My last award is for Best Nude.
Best nude.
Best nude.
Is it a tasteful nude?
Glow.
There's a lot of nudity in Glow. But
that's the only shit TV show I can remember that there was nudity in.
It's not Glow.
It's not Twin Peaks when you see the dead girl, is it?
God.
Ooh.
I'm just trying to like go through with the nudes.
It's not.
Every time when I saw an episode and I saw some skin and I thought, Joe hates this. I was like, which?
There was a sex scene in Slasher. There was also a sex scene in Mad About You.
Yes, there was. And Best Nude goes to Paul Reiser's nipples in Mad About You.
And he's just like laying in bed too.
Saw a lot of
like
nips.
No reason.
Which was
unnecessary.
Made me uncomfortable. Like definitely more uncomfortable than any of those other scenes that we named. Paul Reiser's nips out.
It seemed a little obtrusive. I feel like. I'm just glad that Mad About You got an award.
Yeah, good for them.
For sure.
Because I will say, I had a heavy debate giving it Bangin' Theme Song Award, but I didn't give it that.
Sure. There you go.
So
Best
good.
nude.
I'm glad at least Paul Reiser's nipples can win an award on First and Last.
It's in the mail, Paul.
So good for them. All right, well, my last one is the Friday Night Fright Award.
Oh, Friday Night Fright.
What does that mean exactly?
You want to get scared on Friday night? Friday Night Fright.
Okay. All right. So it's just like the spookiest show we watched?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
We did have a good number of spooky shows.
Yeah, we did have a good number of spooky shows. I just don't want to give it away until I reveal the show. So you got a guess of a show?
I'm gonna guess slasher. I think.
Yeah, I guess my initial thought was slasher, but
Fair
I
enough.
don't know.
For two reasons I named this show, which is, are you afraid of the dark?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Friday Night Fright Award goes to that. Number one, this whole award is based on my memory that show was on Friday nights, wasn't it?
I don't know. I'm thinking it was part of the SNCC lineup, which was like Saturday nights, but
Maybe I watched it on
probably
the
both.
reruns or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were reruns on Friday.
I'm sure I've seen this show on Friday night. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Friday Night Fright. It's kind of a funny, like, tongue-in-cheek, because obviously Are You Afraid of the Dark's not scary. But when you were watching it as a kid, it was definitely anxiety-inducing for sure, because you're little and you don't understand that all of this is silly. So
I don't know. Some of them are pretty dark.
I recall watching Are You Afraid of the Dark on Friday nights at some point in my life as a young child, and that kind of just brought it up how fun that show was. Just like scary shows for kids are not that common. You know, Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark. I feel like those are it. So, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
It's a tough
It's the
line
Friday
to
Night
walk.
Fright.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I can't imagine that show airing today.
Yeah. Fine line between like entertaining spooky kids show and just like traumatizing children.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
So that's that. Joe, what's your last one?
So my last one is an award for best transplant opportunity. This is kind of a fun gimmicky one, but I tried to imagine like if you could take the main character or main characters from a show and put it in a different show setting from the shows that we've done this season, like what's the best combination? Because I feel like we had a lot of good, interesting settings and also interesting like lead characters that you could make some pretty nuts matchups.
So this
So
this is
so what
two
you're saying is-
shows technically?
Technically, yeah, the award would go to the characters from one show and the setting from another show. They'll
So
both get trophies.
what you're saying is putting Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt into The Man in the High Castle. That's it right there.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a lot of my runners up were just throw the characters in Man in the High Castle.
Oh man, interesting.
So what-
Okay.
What if
This is
Paul
great.
Reiser was the head Nazi in Man in the High Castle? I mean,
See?
come on.
A lot of opportunity there. Mr.
He's
Cooper
just
in the Man in the High
walking
Castle.
He's just walking around going, "Tell me who
He's just living a normal New York life.
is the Nazi in charge of you? Tell me why."
Can I guess the Fuller House ladies into the roles of the Glow women?
Ooh, I didn't think of that, but that is interesting. That they're all still trying to like raise their families, but they're all wrestlers now.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
That is a good one.
Another runner-up I had was taking the three dudes in Workaholics and putting them in the Good Place.
Oh man,
Just
Yeah,
having
I'd
them
watch
try to work out like the afterlife. That'd be interesting.
I will watch that.
I like that. The main cast of Hanging with Mr. Cooper moving to the ship on Firefly.
Getting into shenanigans.
Just like Mr. Cooper's just walking around being like, is there a basketball court on this
Yeah.
ship? Or what? What do we do all
It's
day?
Mr. Cooper, his childhood friend, and the girl he's trying to get with, just like traveling through space.
Yeah.
Mr. Cooper in space. I like it.
But what was it?
So again, Man in the High Castle is just ripe for, this is the most interesting setting of just an alternate universe where
Yeah.
Nazis run the Eastern United States and the Japanese run the Western United States. So like that's the setting for sure. But I think the most interesting characters, at least in terms of a show that I want to watch, is take the Dino Thunder iteration of the Power Rangers and put them in alternate universe, like Nazi America. That's the show I want to see.
Okay, you want to throw the Power Rangers into like the neutral zone in the middle of those two superpowers and just see them fight the good fight.
Yeah, like I think that's like there's some untapped potential there of like give me like somewhat realistic, not realistic I guess, but just like historical fiction Power Rangers. Like instead of having them fight Rita, have them fight Nazis. Like that is interesting to me with Zords and stuff.
Well, and also, I mean, right away I was like, "There's no way the Nazis are done, right? You can't fight the Nazis can't fight Power Rangers."
Yeah.
But then I was like, "But depending on what point in the story, the Nazis can transverse worlds."
Yeah,
you know,
because I mean, from what I've seen of season 1, there's
swords.
Yeah, they have some sort of like advanced technology, don't they? The Nazis do.
Yeah, I mean they're literally messing with like the multiverse at some point.
Yeah.
So
formidable opponent, and you got like Tommy is like being the mentor for the three kids.
Tommy, the original Green Ranger, is
Dr.
fighting
Thomas.
Nazis in an alternate universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm
that
so
sounds
into
great.
this.
That's it's so funny.
I like can't stop thinking about it. I'm gonna be like dreaming about that tonight.
I
I'm
thought
into it.
another one that you might say was the cast of Freaks and Geeks reading scary stories around the fire.
Ooh, that's good.
Actually, the cast of workaholics sitting around a campfire trying to tell scary stories might be good too. Actually, just a workaholics episode that would have made fun of Are You Afraid of the Dark probably would have been a gem.
You know, if you guys ever do get into Psych, they do a lot of like niche trope episodes where they're like
Nice.
based on different like genres and stuff,
Mhm.
and some of them are like they actually have a awesome Twin Peaks one where it's like if you don't know anything about that show or that like genre that they're spoofing, you have no idea what's going on. Like the rest of it's just totally just the normal show, but like they take all the little nuances and they don't like explain them. You just have to know that that's what they're doing, and it's
They're
like
doing a
so
Twin Peaks thing. Yeah.
clever. Love it.
That's fun that they do stuff like that, especially because it's just easy to do with one episode and be done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like if you hated it, just whatever. You'll watch the next one next week because you like Psych. So, cool. Well, those were our other awards. People as in the listeners. Thank you. But now it's time to find out
That's
who
right.
between us three guessed the correct most. Did I say any of those words correctly?
Sure.
It was a bad sentence. Who won? Who got the most points via predictions in season 7 of First and Last between the three of us? Just to reiterate, for fun, to go back in time, the defending champion of season 6 was Jimmy.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that you're the defending champion?
No.
You eked out a victory with 21.5 points over me with 21 points.
Oh man.
Joe, you had 17 points in season 6, so not your best showing.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
Underdog.
I am going to drag over this formula on my spreadsheet, and then we're going to reveal who
In
won.
real time.
Well, I mean, I'm only going to get to see it, so if I lie, I lie, but whatever. Oh, okay. Never before has anyone received 25 points a season,
Right.
which
Wow.
would be which would equal 1 point an episode.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot 185 episodes or 4 because it's the 85th. Has anyone ever gotten 25 points in a season? And that is consistent to this day.
Okay.
However, the winner of season 7 with 24 points
Oh.
Ooh.
So very close.
So close.
Almost.
Nearly a perfect score.
Nearly kind of a perfect score.
In a way.
In a way. 24 points is Jimmy wins again.
No
Man.
way.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going to be Joe.
I thought it was
I
going to
really-
be me too.
I really did too. And let me just make sure. I want to make sure
That
before
was that
after I'd
formula
said
working.
Jimmy won. Nope. Jimmy. And also I feel bad. We all thought it was going to be Joe. Joe, you got third place
Oh man. People's
Really?
champion.
with half a point less than you got last season. 16.5 points. You just had
Going
like
down.
I think we thought it was going to be you, Joe. You started off pretty bad. You had 3 zeros in a row, followed by 2 points. And then you just kind of did okay for about the next 16
Rest of
episodes.
Okay.
But then the last 5 episodes, you got 3 points, 2 points, 2 points, 1 point, and 1 point. So you were crushing it in the last 5 episodes.
Hey, just building on for next season.
Yeah, but it was not
Cinderella
enough.
story.
So Jimmy wins with 24 points. I come in second place with 19.5, which isn't too bad. And then Joe, very far in third, 16.5.
Double champ.
Double champ Jim.
Suck it,
Good job.
losers.
Oh man.
Sorry.
I mean, I guess we earned that,
I'm
but
gonna-
it still hurts.
I'm gonna train in the off season. Do we have an off
So
season?
like before next week, you're gonna.
Yeah, yeah,
Just gonna
Joe. We
start
have an
watching
off
some
season.
shows.
You got 6 days. So, well, congratulations, Jimmy. Way to
Oh,
win
thank you.
season 7.
Thank you.
Presumably it was well deserved. You just
Oh,
had
definitely.
you had a lot of 2-point episodes. I think that's what brought it home.
That's good because I felt like I had a lot of 0 episodes. So I guess you gotta make it.
You did have a couple 0. You had at least a third of, not a third, maybe like a fourth of them were zeros, but you also had like 6, maybe even 7 2-point episodes. So that really drove your average up.
The layup. That's my shot.
That's right. Way to go. So, well, I guess that's it. That's gonna do it for season 7. First and last. Well, we're gonna take a rest on the off season for exactly 1 week, and we'll see you again next Wednesday. And well, if you want to get in on this this exciting show-tastic podcast that we got, you can write us in at F&L podcast on the Gmails or on the Twitters, and you can do a show suggestion, listener. Talking to you, Craig.
Craig
I hope
T.
there's-
Nelson.
Yeah, Coach. I know Coach listens now. But yeah, if you want to give us show suggestions, please do. Also, you can just get a hold of us and tell us nice things. Talk about let us know if you've tried that spaghetti hot dog yet. or any other comments in general. Also, if you're on the podcast app of your choosing, throw that finger over there and pick a number and rate us that number, because that's what we deserve. Thank you. We appreciate that. I'm sure it helps.
Something.
I don't know how science works, so we'll figure it out. But that is season 7. We'll see you next week for the start of season 8. Goodbye. Still the only one that says goodbye. 185 episodes. I'm still the only one that says goodbye.